Look, I don't think anyone's probably experienced in terms of football what we've had to experience, and it has been a very difficult time.
I guess not being out on the track is probably the worst thing, not being able to train with the guys and being in that kind of inner sanctum training.
You know, I think that any time that you're faced with adversity and you come through it, then it gives you confidence that the next time you're faced with challenges that you can do it.
There's been a lot going on at the Essendon Footy Club. I'd have to say it's all positive. We've created a very strong, new, energised administration at the club. We will get to the all-time record of 60,000 members this year. I have no doubt about that. Mark is a driven man. He's back to his energised best. I and the board are both thrilled with the way he's approached the pre-season.
I'm actually very, very committed. I'm excited. I want to show Essendon in the best possible way. We really want to bring the team up and we're going to try and do things better, and we'll see where that takes us. And that's the important thing, that we try aim to win a premiership. We just aim to do things well, and that's what we need to do in every little part of how we run a footy club.
We've got to focus on the exciting side of this year. We've got some new players into the playing group that will add experience and will bring a steadying influence.
I always believe I can play the game. I wouldn't have wanted to continue playing if I didn't think that, I had something to give. Playing with new guys, playing a new way, back under Bomber, just really looking forward to the opportunity of playing in the number 3. It's just very exciting.
I know the players have worked enormously hard, and we're ready to go. It's the same resilient group who are going to front up with their heads held high and play the Essendon way.
I'm full of admiration and full of excitement about what we can do this year.
We just want to build again. We just want to build respect. We want our fans to love us. We want other supporters from other clubs just to know, yeah, they're a pretty professional club. They play a fair game, and they're pretty decent people.
At the moment, I'm 6 weeks post-surgery. Yeah, this morning it's currently 5:22 a.m. At the moment, I've been getting up at 5 a.m. 2 or 3 times a week to do my swim sessions in Toorak. Obviously, I'm not much of a morning person, but that's all part of it, I guess. So, yeah, this morning I'll swim for about an hour and a half, then make my way back over to the club. I'll do my weights and more cross training out there. So by the time I'm finished today, it'll be probably 3 or 4 o'clock. So it's they can be long days at times, but it's all worth it, I guess, in the end.
He rolled his ankle pretty badly when they went to surgery. The ligaments weren't too bad, so they've just tied it up, so that's not the big deal. The big deal really was that he'd damaged some of the surface. So that's what will hold him back, the surface. Well, obviously in the first week, first few days he's just in a back slab, then he'll be in a boot for 3 weeks. Then he'll be in a brace for perhaps another 3 weeks. But after 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be mobilising the ankle. He'll be in the pool. He'll probably be on a bike at about 4 weeks, swimming definitely at 4 weeks, and then at 6 weeks you're hopefully on the Ultra G, then slowly build up, hopefully on the track, hopefully 10 weeks and play at 12. Hard to predict exactly, but that'll be roughly the time frame.
What we're basically doing is just trying to keep his fitness level up, doing some hypoxic work, which is sort of like oxygen debt, and just general aerobic work to keep his level of fitness at a good enough level so that when he can actually hit the track and run, once his ankle's 100%, he hasn't lost too much and he can pretty much get straight into hitting the track hard and working hard straight away. So what we're doing with Tom is he's coming in for about an hour and a half, depending on what he's got going on during the day. He'll try and get through about 3 kilometres, getting some high-end aerobic work done and some hypoxic work done. So he does pretty well. Like I said, he moves pretty well for a big fella. He's got nice long strokes. He's pretty comfortable in the water, which is important. And the only thing we're just making sure that we keep an eye on is that he's not overloading his shoulders, because swimming is a sport that can really put a lot of pressure on his shoulders, and we want to make sure that his shoulders are pretty good so that he can do a session this morning, and then if he's got weights this afternoon, he's not going to hurt himself or be too fatigued.
My training's been at a really high level, much cross training and weights and that kind of thing, so I've been really able to ramp that up in the last month or so, which has been really pleasing. Hopefully, as of Monday, I'll start ticking the legs over out here and running around a bit more, which will be good too.
Personally, I think AFL players are amongst the best athletes in the world across all disciplines. They're able to take a hit. Their aerobic capacity has to be huge because they've got to run all game. I mean, yes, we've got a lot of rotations now, which means they're maybe not necessarily running for 15-minute stretches and stuff, but then their ability to have to do short, sharp repeats has to be very high as well. Plus, they have to have good hand-eye coordination and grab the ball, run on, pass on and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm a little bit biased, but yeah, I think football players are amongst the best athletes in the world, full stop.
I don't actually mind the swimming sessions, they're not too bad, but I guess not being out on the track, that's probably the worst thing, not being able to train with the guys and being in that kind of inner sanctum training. But it's, look, hopefully it won't be too much longer and hopefully I'll be back out there.
2014 season will be a great one for the Essendon Football Club. We'll win plenty of games and we'll see why we are a very good football club. My passion for coaching, I can't wait to come back. Yeah, it's obviously, counting down the days. I think it's less than 6 months now to come back, and yeah, can't wait to come back and coach this football club again and coach the players and reward the supporters for all the faith they've put in our football club. This season was pretty clear to myself and Bomber that Bomber's the coach for 2014, and once season 2014 finishes in terms of our last game, then I'll take over as head coach. But until 2014 finishes in terms of games, Bomber will be the head coach, and anything, of course, that Bomber needs when I come back, I'm here to help him. One of the advantages, I suppose, if there are any, of not being the head coach for 2014 is really getting a head start on 2015 over every other club. I think the fact you can focus on 2015, put the list together and make sure we're prepared for obviously the trade period, the draft period to come up is important. And then, as I said, if Bomber needs anything to help him around the place, I'd love to help. Look, I think Bomber and I are very clear what our roles are going to be. As I said, Bomber's the head coach for 2014 and I'll be the head coach for 2015, and so I can't see where there'd be a distraction in that. The players are clear, I'm clear, Bomber's clear, and I think our supporters are pretty clear, so I think they're really the people that matter. Look, the INSEAD course will help me as a coach. It'll help me in all forms of business life. It's an MBA. It's a pretty intensive course. There's people from all around the world doing it. Different campuses in France, in Singapore, and Abu Dhabi. So meeting a lot of different people from around the world, a lot of different business types, different ideas on business. And I think it's great to go and expand your brain, expand your world and see what's out there. But specifically as a coach, there's a very detailed part about leadership in there, about business, about corporate governance even. So there's a lot that will help me being part of the management team at Essendon and help coach the players. Look, I don't think anyone's probably experienced in terms of football what we've had to experience, and it has been a very difficult time. The Essendon fans throughout the last 2.5 years have been incredible. When we walked back in the club in the end of 2010, now they've been amazing. Obviously, the Essendon fans want to know what's going on, and we've been able to talk to them at some stages about that. But really, in terms of Essendon fans, you couldn't ask for anything more. And I think it speaks to why we are a great club and why we'll continue to be a great club. Players are fantastic. I think the players and supporters, that's what the lifeblood of a football club are. And as I talked about supporters, how great they've been to get behind the club. The players to get behind the club, recommit to the club at the end of last year, train their backsides off. Obviously, I haven't been around the club, but just hearing the way that, the enthusiasm in their voice for season 2014, you wish them all the best. It's very exciting when you come up to a new season. 2014 season will be a great one for the Essendon Football Club. We'll win plenty of games, and we'll see, why we are a very good football club. My passion for coaching, I can't wait to come back. Yeah, it's obviously, counting down the days. I think it's less than 6 months now to come back, and can't wait to come back and coach and coach this football club again, and coach the players and reward the supporters for all the faith they've put in our football club.
This is my first jumper I ever received from my parents. Probably was about 4 or 5 years old when I received this. Actually, maybe even younger. It looks quite small. The woolen jumper. Used to wear this running around Auskick. Probably the only bloke at this footy club that could still wear this. Maybe it's Trav Collier. Probably the perfect size for him at the moment. So yeah, wore this probably all through my Auskick days, out from junior Auskick, and it's a great prizing possession in my life, and it stays at my parents' house actually at the moment. So mum sort of might hug it a couple of times at night when she misses me at home. Yeah, it's a nice little jumper from back 15, 20 years ago. My earliest memory of probably being Essendon supporters, used to always watch the '93 grand final on replay over and over when I was a kid, probably 4 or 5 years old. Earliest memory of actually a footy game was maybe about 97 or 98 when I went to an Anzac Day game, and then went and saw Lloydie kick 13 in 1999 against Sydney at the G, and they were great memories for me as a young kid. People ask me about what my most memorable game is as an Essendon player, and probably my debut game where I received my first Essendon jumper, first sash. That's the most memorable game, and that was a great memory for me.
Brownie and I are rooming together. Despite him being incapable of keeping anything clean, we decided that it was his turn to get me a coffee. He's just having a little trouble with his time management. I think that any time that you're faced with adversity and you come through it, then it gives you confidence that the next time you're faced with challenges that you can do it. Obviously you can't win a premiership in December, but players can lose a season by not being able to get the training done. The Switzerland trail hike was the toughest of the camp. The conditions, meant that it was really a mental challenge, and sort of a 5.5 hour type trail, and the wind that was sort of blowing at the time meant that it was really difficult.
I'm over you now like a hill that I'm hiking. Feel like I'm fighting for no reason, but I'm still feeling right when you get right into it and bite. You can turn into lighter fluid when you will ignite. It's heat that you shouldn't like.
Been walking for about hour and 45. Buddha's just about to tuck into some jerky. Want some jerky? Just for some, it's terrible stuff. It's going well. It's cold. I think we've done about 10k so far. Almost got blown off a couple of times. Got to start climbing back up now, so it's going to be an interesting walk back. Still coping all right. Just getting through this wind and snow, but the sun's out, so it's still nice. We've had a focus about being able to execute under fatigue, and whether it's mentally or physically, that's the challenge of the game. You take your body to the extremes and then you try and think your way through situations. Sight.
Probably wasn't as steep as some of the other hikes that we've done, but in terms of the wind and the length of it, it was pretty solid day.
I have a grandfather and an uncle that went to war. My father took me to every Anzac Day up at the shrine. Probably started about there, probably when you were a kid growing up. Left the AFL out of it, because it's not their day really anyway. It was for us to make it an opportunity for these two clubs to sell out the game, and for the right reasons, and that is the spirit of the Anzacs.
Hi everyone and welcome to Essendon's brand new True Value Solar Centre. My name's Tom Williams and I'm going to take you on an exclusive look around the $26.7 million facility. There's a state-of-the-art 750 square metre gym, 2 ovals to train on, a 25 metre pool with walking lanes and a synthetic grass training hall. One of the most impressive things about this building is that it's soon to be fitted with 200 solar panels, meaning Essendon will significantly reduce their power costs. True Value Solar has been supporting Essendon for years, but with the new solar implementation, savings can be reinvested back into the club and its players. We'll explore more of the True Value Solar Centre with the Bombers captain Jobe Watson, Michael Hurley and coach Bomber Thompson. We'll have a look at their training regime, diets and so much more. We'll see you then.
Yeah, to me it was about my grandfather, Jack Nixon, and Uncle Bill, and Dad. You know, they're all in. Dad was in the army at this stage, but never went to war. I've been in the army myself for 2 years. It was a great experience for me, and in many ways, I think of all the things that related me to the military. I know about the crowd. I've been there for a long time. I see the crowd, but I don't see it.
I think Sheedy certainly was the dawning light in regard to the Anzac Day match. He apparently was in the garden one day and had this thought that it would be a great way to commemorate Anzac Day, given his military service and the fact that he saw it bringing everybody together after the march.
Left the AFL out of it, because it's not their day really anyway. It was for us to make it an opportunity for these two clubs to sell out the game, and for the right reasons, and that is the spirit of the Anzacs. And I have a grandfather and an uncle that went to war. My father took me to every Anzac Day, just about he could when he was not working, up at the shrine. We lived in South Yarra. So probably started about there, probably when you were a kid growing up.
Of course, Bruce Ruxton was a Collingwood supporter. His mother reckoned that he was taught to say Collingwood before he could say mother. It was the story. But Bruce did embrace it after a little bit of soul searching about playing a big game like this on Anzac Day. It had been done in the past, but Bruce saw this as an opportunity, I think, to really cement it as a tradition. And of course, that day the game ended up 111 each, with an incredible draw, and the 100,000 people that were there went away with an absolute ripper of a game. So I think it was put in cement that day, and it's been there ever since.
Bruce Ruxton was fantastic. He really listened to why. And he's pretty happy that we went to the RSL first, not the AFL. So I thought that might have got us out the line a bit. And so we sat down there with the Collingwood president, Alan McAllister, and we got it right. You know, it was there for the right reasons. It was to be done for the right reasons, and that was more about military. It's not about anything else but
saying thank you.
Teams prepare to run through the joint battle.
In honouring the memory of Australia's servicemen and women who gave their lives for the nation.
Alright, we're just leaving the club here now, on our way to Essendon Keilor College to speak to some kids about the awareness of social media and our partnership with Bully Zero. So we're just going to head off now and jump in the Bully Zero car.
First of all, I just want to talk about us as footballers in the AFL environment, especially coming out here today. And we talked to a lot of schools that we're role models for the community, and we sort of have to act in that way a lot, and just sort of try and let young kids understand the impact of what bullying can have on society, especially nowadays with social media, such a big part of society. I mean, hands up here who has Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, yeah, pretty much everyone here.
Yeah, last year was a difficult year for Essendon's young members, and the players are just really looking to get more of them out to the new facility in Tullamarine. We've had a few open training sessions where all the young supporters and the parents can come and have a look at the facilities and watch us train, and just get them more involved with the new club and repay a bit of the faith that they've shown over the last couple of years.
The impact of what social media now can cause on people's lives, and the creation of this cyberbullying where you can pretty much say anything to anyone online and there's no accountability behind it. You might say something online hurtful to someone and you have no bearing on, or you don't know what impact that has on someone's life. They could be having family problems, they could be having a bad day at work. So just think before you act. So I think that's where this digital detox is going to come in next Friday, whereas you just don't use social media for 48 hours. So try not to maybe use your phone and Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook and any kind of thing like that, because it's all about just raising awareness of cyberbullying and the impact it can have on society.
I'd encourage young people to use social media responsibly, just by keeping it positive all the time. So whether, for example, you want to comment on something to do with footy, you know, comment on something that they've done well, or, you know, even if they didn't play too well or the side didn't go great, it's always good when you see those tweets that are really encouraging to the players, and it makes you think that you know, it's not that bad, and that you can press on forward to the next week and get something out of that. Whereas if it's negative, it can make you feel even worse. If you can just keep it positive all the time, and even amongst friends, just keep the banter friendly, nothing too serious, and just making sure that everyone's having a good time on social media. Yeah, it'll be happy days.